Hello, welcome guys to my channel. This is your host Raheel Sheikh with you. And as you guys aware on my channel, I bring a lot of success stories with regards to the American dream and the people who has already achieved, who has already been to a stage of their life where they have been a part of an American dream's success story. So I today I have requested and invited one of a very valuable friend of mine, Mr. John Cobb, who is a business and a career coach here based in America. So I have invited him so that he can share some of his stories, and we'll see what he has to bring to our audience. So welcome, John, on the show.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. I love talking with aspiring entrepreneurs and people that are looking for new opportunities because that is near and dear to my heart from my journey. So it's great to be in front of your audience, and I hope that I can help them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. And just before we formally start, so do you mind giving a bit of your introduction, your background? Where did you start? What are you doing at currently? Just so that my audience can correlate with what they are going to hear from you.
Yeah, so I joined the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps, when I was 17 and spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, ended up going overseas a couple times, and then worked with the State Department for a few years. And so I had these government skills. I had skills that were not part of the business world. I didn't understand the business world. And when I left the military, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know how to get a job. And
Right.
so I effectively ended up homeless for a while, and I didn't even understand that I needed help to figure out what I was doing wrong, and I didn't know what types of opportunities were available, and so I really felt isolated. And that's kind of where my journey starts. From there, I learned as much as I could, watching videos, reading, talking to people, and eventually worked my way up through going to a few different schools and ultimately getting an offer from Deloitte Consulting, spending some time there, going to Vanderbilt for my MBA before that, going to the Harvard Kennedy School for a master in public administration, and then started my own business. So I've been on this path from joining the Marine Corps with $20 in my pocket, getting on a plane, nothing to my name. I was a high school dropout. I only had 2 years of high school. Went to the military, had no marketable skills. No one in my family had ever graduated from college before. And I really had to figure this out on my own. And because of what I've learned and the challenges I faced, now I want to help people that are on that same journey who might not have the resources work to help them understand what they need to do. But if I can help people, then that's extremely rewarding for me. So that's what I love doing.
Wow, that's very very inspiring.
Thank you.
I mean, all the way serving the U.S. military and then going to the homeless. So, how did this transition happen? And what particular segment of the military you were serving, and then how did you end up in being a homeless? And then we'll take it further from from being a homeless to a successful entrepreneur, and all the achievements which you have done so far.
Yeah, thank you. So I started off in the Marine Corps Infantry, and I was part of a Scout Sniper team for my second deployment overseas. And, I had kind of mastered to a certain degree what my job was in the Marine Corps at that level at that time. But most of those skills were not directly transferable to the business world or the civilian world, as we say in the military.
Right.
That's not to say that I didn't have any skills. I had learned some leadership skills. I had learned teamwork skills. I learned how to put a plan together, to show up on time, things like that. But my specific skills, how to clean a weapon, how to, do these
Right.
other things, did not apply to the business world. So I had to learn how to tell my stories in a very specific way that highlighted my general skills and not the specific skills. But I was in a semi-elite unit, you might say, being part of a Scout Sniper team in the Marine Corps, and I felt like I was in a very tight-knit group. We were a close team, and I went from that environment to getting out of the military and being very isolated and alone. And that taught me one of the most important lessons of my life, which I love to share with people, and that's don't do it alone. Whether you're looking for a job or you're trying to get promoted or you're facing a challenge in your personal life, don't go through that by yourself. find a mentor or a coach or a friend, someone to talk to, maybe even a podcast that is going to help guide you through that process. And that's actually what it was for me. I found YouTube videos
Mhm.
that really helped me learn what I needed to do to be more successful. So I value the YouTube University education that I got.
Mhm.
There are great mentors out there, and I treated it as if they were speaking to me personally, even though it was a recording. Some of my favorite videos are, 30 or 40 years old, but
Mhm.
those videos really spoke to me, and I learned as much as I could from everyone I could. So, whenever you find yourself isolated or stuck, find someone or something that can help you. That's one of my biggest lessons.
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely, the I call it as it's a miracle in the today's world. This
Mhm.
YouTube University and this all the content, the creators economy, which is out there, and it's so accessible to everybody that there are no excuses left for anybody not to know what they don't know. Like they can anybody can learn anything if they want to know. They can just hop onto the mobile, scroll it on some few screens, and they get access to the world's biggest university and library. So that's pretty impressive. And so you came from a very well decorated the military background, and then I mean, naturally, the all that snipers and the military trainings and those kind of things, you cannot use it in your civilian life. Then how did, from that period, or from that stage of your life, how did you end up transitioning to becoming an entrepreneur? You start And when did you started your business of this coaching and consulting, and why did you choose this particular industry where you are doing a coaching and counseling right now?
Yeah, great questions. So I got here one step at a time.
Hmm.
And, it's easy to say homeless to Harvard or something like that, but it's not like it happened overnight. I went through 9 different universities
Hmm.
on my journey. I started at a college that was actually ranked the worst college in the United States at one point.
Wow.
And I got a great education there, though, had excellent professors. But I went from that college, that online course, to getting to go to Harvard, Vanderbilt, Stanford. But in between, I went to several community colleges. I took an online course at Berkeley. I went to Vanguard University in Southern California,
Hmm.
fantastic school where I got my undergrad in night school. And so I found a way to keep making progress. And
Hmm.
every step I took opened up new doors. And I just kept pushing on those doors to see what opportunities were really available. And some of them didn't work out the way I thought they would, and others did. So it was, that willingness to keep taking the next step and to keep testing things and trying to make progress that led me here. But you also asked why I got into the coaching business, and that's just because I remember the times when I didn't have a coach, and
Hmm.
looking back, it would have made a huge difference in my life. Probably saved me a lot of pain and heartache and wasted time. And
Hmm.
also because when I did have a mentor, it made an incredible difference in my life. Even some of the small things that people said to me in passing, coming from someone that I respected, had a
Hmm.
huge impact on me. And if I can help other people that are in my situation that are, maybe a few years behind me on a similar journey, then that's worth more to me than being successful in terms of making money or, having titles or working for the right company. Um, I find my fulfillment in helping other people achieve their dreams. That's what gets me excited.
Amazing, amazing. So, so you turned out to be a full-time coach, and that too in a very, I would say, it's a very niche industry when it comes to the career counseling and the career coaching. Let me know about your industry. I mean, what exactly you do. How do you help people advancing their career, finding the right jobs at the right placements? And something about your industry, what you do.
Yeah. So people get stuck in these traps in their careers.
Hmm.
And let's say they finish a degree in, science, but they can't find a job in that industry. And they end up taking a job that they don't really care about in sales.
Hmm.
And some of those people will spend the next 20 or 30 years of their life trying to make it in this sales world, which is maybe not where they belong and not where they would be the most fulfilled. So I really help people get clarity on what they want to do and where their natural alignment is.
Hmm.
Because if you don't have that clarity, then you're just kind of shooting in the dark.
Right.
So we've got to get that clarity first. That clarity is powerful. And once you identify what you really want to do and where your strengths are, how you can use your skills to be more successful in your career, you're going to be a lot happier and you're going to do better there because you have that natural alignment. So that's where I start. There are also a lot of people that get stuck in a place they're not happy because of the culture, or they don't have work-life balance. They disagree with the leadership, things like that, and they feel trapped. And I help them understand that there are plenty of opportunities out there. The problem is not that there aren't any opportunities. The problem is maybe that they're not looking, or they're not going after them in the right way. And another challenge that people face is that they may have 10, 15 years of experience in one industry, and they realize they want to do something else. But they haven't mastered the art of the job search process. And that is a very different skill set than doing a job itself. Whether you're, moving out to something in the same industry or trying to do a bit of a career pivot, you have to understand that the job search process is a very different skill set than the actual job that you will do. You could be the best, software engineer in the world, but the actual process of getting a position at Amazon or one of these top companies, Apple, whatever, is very different than doing the actual job. And so I help people learn to advocate for themselves, to negotiate their offers when they get them. Most people don't want to negotiate, which is really unfortunate. How to network effectively, tell their stories in a compelling way, get the interviews, get the offers, and get the opportunities that they deserve. But most people don't realize that's a very different skill set.
Right. Great. So here I got, two questions developed from your from the explanation, because that's a very wide explanation, and I can certainly correlate because, as I told you, off the record, like I help most of my audience on my channel. They are the aspiring entrepreneurs who want to, migrate or move brand new to America, and they want to, start their careers as fresh. So this is one of the questions which I often, in fact, I would say a couple of times a day, I come to know that, and I come across people don't know what do they want to do. They are confused. So either they are a software engineer from the last 10 years and they are not comfortable. They don't know, they are not passionate about that business, be it a job background or be it an entrepreneurial background, but they are still confused. Or they just randomly, they are unaware, they are confused at what kind of a business or what kind of opportunities lying there in the market, which they are passionate about and which they should consider. So my question here would be, this all of your help and assist, and I'm sure there would be a whole mechanisms, some kind of a psychological test, or some discussions and understandings which help you determine that what kind of a true passion a person carries from from inside, other than the professional career. So do you think that expertise can only help for a job seekers, or it can help into an entrepreneurial market as well? Like, like somebody wants to start a business, but he's confused that as an education, he's an IT guy, but as a profession, he wants to be a wildlife photographer, for example. So, but he's confused. He's not sure, but should he choose his passion or should he choose his profession? So do you help in those kind of things as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I've worked for myself for a few years now, and I believe in entrepreneurship. I mean, that is the core of the American dream, to
Right.
control your time and your money, to have that freedom. And one of my favorite sayings is that families are always rising and falling in the United States. And I think that's so true. That's been true for me. I mean,
Absolutely true.
it's a beautiful thing. And entrepreneurship is at the core of that. Solopreneurship is something that I think is really the future of entrepreneurship. And it's this idea that you can start a business and you don't have to have a whole team. You don't have to raise millions of dollars of funding from a venture capitalist firm. You can get some people on Upwork to help you with the graphic design and building your website. And you can build a course. You can start a newsletter. These things that are extremely scalable and very low investment to test your idea without taking a huge risk. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to put 50 grand into building an app. I can't tell you how many people I've coached that have built an app, poured tens of thousands of dollars in their own money into it, and realized, they don't have the product management background.
Right.
They don't understand the app ecosystem.
Mhm.
So look for these things that are very scalable. Like you can make a lot of money off of a newsletter, whatever you love, whether, it's art or I don't know, you name it, sculpture,
Right.
organizational transformation is something that I'm passionate about. You can do
Mhm.
that through a newsletter and you can scale that organically without quitting your day job. So those are some of the things that I help people think through on a practical level. But I
Mhm.
really have to get people clear on what they want to do and why. And
Mhm.
that begins by digging deep. I challenge people um, to really reflect on their motivations and their personal history, where those motivations are coming from. And I do use a few tools. I use Deloitte's business chemistry. I use the career leader assessment, which is a fantastic test that helped me get into management consulting in the first place. I was
Mhm.
sure when I went to business school that I did not want to be a management consultant. I said, that's the
Right.
most typical thing you can do with an MBA. Go be a consultant. And I kind of rolled my eyes. And then I took this career leader assessment and it said I was a 99% fit for management consulting. And I said, I wonder
Mhm.
why. Well, you work in a small, tight knit team. You go in, you solve the biggest problem of the organization, and you're kind of like the special forces of the business world. You go in, you learn a lot quickly, you deliver results quickly, and you move on to something else. And that really appealed to me because I did not want to do the same thing day in and day out. That sounded
Right.
like death to me. And so these tools can be really helpful, but having someone who challenges you to think deeper about your motivations can be really helpful too.
Great, great. So basically, it's more of a self realization that what are you actually passionate about, what
Yeah,
comes from inside of you. Because if you make that inside human as your profession, so the chances of success gets more if you choose the right career path, be it a job or be it the entrepreneurship.
absolutely. I really believe that we all have a purpose in life, but we
Mhm.
get to decide what our purpose is. And your purpose should probably be what you care about the most.
Right.
So, whatever you're passionate about, you need to choose to be responsible for having an impact on that cause.
Mhm.
And you need to think about what's most important to you. Um, I see a lot of people who chase money their whole careers. They feel like they have to take the offer that pays the most or they have to work toward the promotion.
Right.
And that's not going to make them happy. That's not going to lead to fulfillment. There are plenty of people who make tens of millions of dollars a year who are miserable because they chose the money over what they love to do and
Okay.
what would be meaningful for them. So if I can help people get clarity on what is most important for them, then that's going to save them a lot of suffering and uh, make them happier in the long run.
Great. Since we talk about the money, and that's a very sensitive part. That's most of the times that's a trigger part to make any conscious decision for when it comes to the career changing or life changing decisions.
Yeah.
How do you recommend or how do you encounter for example a guy who comes to me and he's doing pretty decent in terms of financial growth in his career, but he's not a passionate about, and he wants to switch and transition to a career to a business where he's passionate about, but there the chances of making money is very dilute because he has never tested that field. What do you think can be the factors, or what kind of advices we would like to give to those where of course we have a social responsibility, we have a family responsibility, we got to pay the bills, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So do you think in how this transition, is it easy, is it okay, should he compromise the money over the passion and start the passion career? How do you handle those kind of scenarios?
Oh, that's a dangerous question
Yeah.
because I am radical on this. I
Okay.
say that I was given the gift of homelessness early in my life and my
Mm,
career
mm,
because I know that even, what people would think of as rock bottom in some ways is not the end of the world.
right.
I would rather risk everything going after what matters than waste my life playing it safe, living in comfort. I don't think that makes people happy. I think that too many people believe that comfort and safety and security and financial wealth make them happy, when in
Mhm.
reality, happiness comes from challenging yourself and growing and doing hard things and taking risks. And even if you fail, learning from them and growing as a person. Happiness comes from that journey of growth. And I mean, I see people who, they buy a new boat. It's the best day of their lives. They love this new boat. And then the next day they regret it
Mhm.
because they think about the payments and now they have to work harder to pay for the boat. So they get trapped in this, this negative cycle. I tell people to take the risk, be smart about it. Don't just, throw caution to the wind,
Right.
take calculated risks, but
Mhm.
life should be an adventure and you wouldn't want it to be too easy. That's no fun.
Right.
Uh, some people think I'm crazy.
That's a very, very, very tough
You gotta take
statement, and I totally, endorse it, because if I talk about my entrepreneurial life till date, I mean I only succeeded when I get out of my comfort and I actually go all in, compromising all what I have on the table. I put all the stakes, on a risk, and that gives me an adventure and challenge. Because I don't, I have burnt all the boats behind me, and then there is nothing left. And that's I would say, I mean, that's a very, very big statement. And that you need to try something new, you need to challenge yourself, and you go all in. That's the most important thing. You need to go all in. Of course, you need to do the calculated risk, but follow your passion over your money. The money would follow. Eventually the money would come.
Yes. I love how you said go all in because that's the scariest thing for people, letting go of their safety net. But why would you want to live in a way that you're not all in on?
Exactly.
There are people who are like doing the bare minimum at work to not get fired because they hate their jobs.
Right.
And you only get one life. This is your story. So, do you want that to be the story of your life? I had this job I hated. I did the bare minimum and I watched as much Netflix as I could at night to forget how much I hated my life. That's the
True.
reality of way too many people. I would rather jump without a parachute and try and, sew one together on the way down. Um, you got to keep life exciting. You got to make it an
Absolutely.
adventure.
Absolutely. It has to be, there has to be an adventure into the life. Absolutely. I totally agree. Okay. So now when it comes to your counseling, so usually, for example, as my clients, they are, coming fresh to the country. They are migrating from international markets. They don't know the challenges of the American society, what kind of, job or career challenges they might face. uh, if they if they come here and if they want to approach you, for example, or if they want to identify the true inside, the call of their career, how sooner or how long do you think that should it take for a newcomer or for a first timer to identify, or how does your process work? If somebody comes to you, how long would you take to identify the actual core, the passion of somebody, so that he can choose that career?
Yeah. So for some people, it's half an hour, and
Oh,
I challenge them, and within half an hour, we get to what they really care about. I talked to one man who's in his 20s, and he was telling me he was kind of stuck. He didn't want to go back to school, but he didn't like his job. And so we dug in, and I found out that he wanted to be a professional athlete. He was right on track to be a pro. He got injured, and that set him off course.
mhm,
And we realized he had forgotten his own dream, which was
mhm,
perfectly clear to him at one point because of this injury. And he was still young enough, and he was healed to go after that dream. And so we talked about the challenges. Well, you know, he doesn't have a ton of money saved up. It's not a
mhm,
sure thing. But within half an hour to an hour, we had clarified exactly what he wanted to do, where he wanted to go, and he was back on
mhm.
track for his dream. Maybe it's not going to work out, but he won't have to live the rest of his life, ashamed or regretting that he never tried. So for some
Right.
people, it's that easy to realize, hey, they forgot what their own dream was, because life will make you forget. We're
Mm.
surrounded by Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You're flashing through, scrolling videos for a nanosecond each.
Right.
Our lives become fragmented. We see advertisements everywhere, news everywhere, and we forget what our own dreams are.
Mhm.
So sometimes it doesn't take long at all to help people get that
Right.
clarity. Then we have to make sure that they stay on track and they don't forget again, because life will
Mhm.
try to make you forget
Right.
and pull you into this
There
mediocre
are there
corporate
are
rat.
distractions all over the places, you know. There
Absolutely.
are distractions. Yeah, true.
And other people, it takes longer, might take a few weeks. They might
Mhm.
have too many things they want to do, and
Mhm.
they might need to let go of some stuff. That's really hard when someone has very high ambitions, but they don't have the ability to focus long enough. And I look at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He came to the US, became a movie star, Mr. Olympia, became the governor, real estate tycoon. He did it all, but he did one thing at a time exceptionally well.
Mhm.
And that is hard for people. So I do planning with them and I help them understand, okay, maybe for the next 2 years, you're working on this. And then maybe you write your book. And then maybe, you travel more or something, and help
Right.
them put things in a logical order to help them focus more. But it's tough
Right.
to want to do everything at once.
Perfect.
You,
So basically,
okay.
this is all incremental and progressive, coaching. It's not like a one time kind of a thing. Like I come to you, you identify my passion, you tell me, and then that's it. I mean, it's a progressive thing, right? Which needs to have a continuous discussion and consultations to make sure that I stay focused on my on my passion.
Yeah, because you might have that moment of clarity, the light bulb might click in the first
Mhm.
call, and then everything in life is going to pull you away. Your family's going to have other plans for you. They're going to try and drag you in that direction. Your friends want you to, party at night or whatever, instead of
Yeah.
studying to take the GMAT to go to business school. Like, you're
Right.
going to get pulled in all these different directions by people who have a plan for your life. And you need at least one person in your corner who is reminding you, hey, that's not what you told me last week. Like,
Right.
why did you not do what you said was the most important thing in the world to you? How are we going
Absolutely.
to make sure that happens this week? How are we going to make the most important thing also the most urgent?
Right.
Because sometimes the most important things aren't very urgent, like your health.
True.
20, 30 years from now, your health is going to be really important, but it doesn't feel like the most urgent thing right now.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it.
Got you. Got it. Okay. So, I mean, I would try to sum up the conversations, since we are having a good time mark now. Uh, Before we end up, now, let's say, okay, let me see. How do I portray? So, as per your industry or as per your practice, based on the stats, do you have some kind of figures or some kind of stats where it is demonstrated that the guys, with the clear focus, they
Mhm.
follow their passion, what are their success rates as compared to the guys who are just following their profession, or they are running after their day-to-day life? So is there any comparative studies available in the market, or you have some data which you can share?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I can give you a link maybe to leave for
Mhm.
some studies.
Mhm.
From personal experience, I had my first coach a few years ago,
Mhm.
and I doubled my income within 1 year of working with a coach for the first time. I
Wow.
realized that I had some limiting beliefs and some negative mindsets. I was in a constant defensive mode. And
Mhm.
that was part of my military experience. I was just always like, you know, I guess you might say offensive.
Mhm.
But I had to get out of that mental um, mindset I was stuck in.
Mhm.
And so that made a huge difference for me personally. That's another reason why I believe in coaching, because it's made a big difference in my life. I had a Tony Robbins coach.
Mhm.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, Tony
Uh,
Robbins is a mastery. I mean, he's a mastermind.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Paid a lot though for
Yeah,
that, for sure.
absolutely. Especially their platinum packages are actually draining your pockets away, you know.
Yeah, you get what you pay for with coaching. It's an investment. It might seem like a lot, but it has a really high return on investment when you have dedicated support like that.
Mhm.
In terms of career coaching, I see people get hired about 6 to 8 weeks faster and make about $10,000 to $20,000 more when I'm able to guide them through the process and
Wow.
save them the pain. Let's say someone has a great resume and they're landing interviews left and right, but they're
Mhm.
not a good interviewer.
Right.
They've just wasted weeks of time without having that interview skill and
True.
preparing for it correctly. And they might have burned bridges at multiple companies.
Mhm.
So if I'm able to help them fix their resume, prepare for interviews, network before they even apply, you got to
Mhm.
network and get a referral before you apply,
Mhm.
then they're going to save so much time. And then when you impress them by doing a great job, they're going to make you a stronger offer. Then we negotiate that, you make more. So I consistently see people get hired weeks faster, make 10, 20,000 more than they expected, or than their initial offer. And that's pretty cool to see.
That's a good experience and good the differential I would say the numbers like without knowing the direction, if you are moving randomly as compared to when you know your direction, when you know your objectives, when you know your goals, then the distance would be much shorter, much faster, and you would achieve your desired results. That's very
Yeah,
impressive.
not only getting hired faster and making more, but also landing at the right company where you're going to get promoted faster and be happier and have
Right.
better work-life balance, or pursue your goals in line with what you want to do.
Great. Okay. Okay. I think so. Let's sum it up now. Uh, uh, Before I ask you, the key advices, if one, two, or three advices you would like to pass on to my audience. But before that, since there will be a lot of people who would be new to this concept of career counselings, because most of the times it's not very something which is very common, and people really don't know that there are career counselors or career coaches available who can guide you moving towards your right directions. So if somebody wants to approach to you and get their career counseling or their sessions to identify their true field of interest, uh, if you can give me a ballpark idea in terms of the your consultation fees or the program schedules, like what kind of a budget. I don't need the exact one, that's between you and your client, but just a rough estimated one. What kind of amount and the budget which somebody should have when they come to a career counselor?
Yeah, so I've seen people charge up to thousands of dollars just for a resume.
Mm-hmm.
I do resume reviews for 250. I give people detailed line by line feedback
Mm-hmm.
on their resume, what they need to improve, what they might need to take out, what they might need to add. And I give them my resume template, proven resume template. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to work with the automated systems. So that's only 250. I think that's huge. I should probably be charging more.
That's pretty decent, yeah. Pretty.
I also do complete resume rewrites for people. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that takes a lot out of me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very detail oriented, but I
Mm-hmm.
do that as well. And then most coaches are, a few hundred an hour. You might pay 100 to 400, 500 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in there. All of my prices are on johncobbcoaching.com, JON,
Yeah.
johncobbcoaching.com. And I also have my new course coming out that I want to tell you about, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that once you get laid off or
Mm-hmm.
you've been unemployed for 6 months and realize that you need help to get
Mm-hmm.
hired, it's really hard to pay $1,000, $2,000
True.
for job search coaching or career coaching. So I've created a course based on the hundreds, if not thousands, of people that I've helped through LinkedIn to
Mm-hmm.
get promoted, find more fulfillment in their work, and get hired. I put that all into a course that's coming out here in just a week or so. Real excited about that. That's going to be 150,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about 2 to 3 hours of video, plus the workbooks, plus the templates, the exact formats I use for networking, for resumes, and LinkedIn advice, how to network, all that for 150. It's on sale for pre-order right now for 20% off. I'm not sure when this will come out. Maybe it'll be live by then.
Yeah.
But man, for $150 to get everything that I've learned over, years of helping people across different industries, I think that that's a no-brainer.
Naturally, absolutely. That's truly worth it. And I'm now more impressed that it's not very expensive load kind of a fees or the payment schedules when it comes to identifying a true career line, true progressive line for your whole future. And there is a potential when you are in the right direction, put your right efforts, you're literally gonna change your whole life. Financially, work life balance, your personal life, your professional life, your health issues, everything. So spending that much, couple of hundred in terms of dollars is not a big money, to identify your true potential. That's very impressive. And that I would say anybody, be it aspiring entrepreneur, or they're coming new to the countries, or they're starting a new to the careers, they must consider this so that they can actually identify the right directions before they actually make a big decisions of their life.
Yeah, thank you. I've taken multiple courses from $1,000 to $5,000, and without copying any of them, I've kind of distilled what I've learned and validated from those courses and my work into this course. And really, I want to help as many people as possible. So I set a price point that anyone can afford, more or less, and get a huge return on investment for that money. And I'm also looking at how to make the pricing variable so that
Mhm.
people in different countries will pay a different price based on the cost of living where they are, so that I can
Right.
help even people internationally.
That's very impressive. That's very good. A kind gesture which you bring to your business. That,
Thank you.
because every country naturally have a different cost of living, so it would help them, to navigate in their local currencies and as per their current standards. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
so let's sum it up, John. And at the end of the discussion, uh, would you like to give any piece of advice to my young entrepreneurs, my aspiring entrepreneurs, and their spouses who would be starting their fresh careers to the country? Any tip, any advice which you would like them to follow?
Yeah. So first, don't do it alone. Find people who can help you, people who have been there before you that can guide you through the process. Keep learning, keep reading, keep watching videos and podcasts like this one to become an expert and master the process of what you want to do to get to where you want to be. You have to be the expert. And I'd say take the risk, um, take the leap of faith. The harder you work, the luckier you get, but you have to walk away from that safety in order to see what's on the other side. And it's most likely that everything you want, everything you dreamed about is on the other side of your fears. So you have to take the leap though. And that's why I say that faith is the secret ingredient. Without faith, nothing's going to happen. Um, so find small ways that you can, test that faith, take small risks, and just see what happens. Do some small experiments, and you might be surprised what happens. And then maybe take a little bit of a bigger risk and keep working hard, and you'll be surprised where you end up. That's my advice.
Absolutely amazing. It's very inspiring, John. And I love the way you have sum it up. There are the risks, there are the challenges which you need to take, because if you take the challenges today, there is a better future waiting for you tomorrow on the other side of the river. So you just need to jump in today, go all in, and find your true freedom and true success.
Amen. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have some failures in there.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
failures are there, challenges are there, but the failures make you more stronger. I mean, that's how the
that's how you
successful
are.
people believe. There is no success without a failure.
So, one last note. I started reading a lot of biographies and studying people's personal histories, and I was
Wow.
blown away that every person I studied had
Mhm.
faced incredible hardship and failure in their lives.
True.
And I mean, U.S. presidents who were farmers for 10 years in the
Right.
field and selling firewood on the side of the street.
True.
And it's amazing what people have overcome to be successful. So just because you see people that look like they have it all together, uh,
Right.
they've probably gone through a lot that's made them stronger to get there.
True. True, absolutely. Thank you so much, John, for your time. It was a very inspiring conversation. I wish we could have done more. It should go more longer, but I know your time is precious. We need to
Maybe next time.
sum it up. Maybe next time we'll invite you again. And thank you so much for joining. And stay tuned, guys, for the next more exciting episodes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.